everybody, I'm Dr. Kingsley.
I'm Rachel, and this is Havoc, here to help us talk about trimming dogs' nails.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. So trimming dogs' nails can be really, really challenging, but we have a few examples of some interesting techniques. So let's go ahead and start with those first.
Nice, treat time.
Right. Have some attention, maybe a little suspicion.
They're getting the rewards in, which is a good part of training.
Havoc knows what's coming. I know, buddy. You've seen this movie before, haven't you? All right, here we go. Here's paw one. Oh.
It's doing pretty well.
That is a very polite please. That is. He's trying to do the best by his dog and trim his nails, but she is not about it. Oh.
Oh, there's the peanut butter. Yep, sure enough.
Oh. Well, we have certainly increased compliance, for sure. And
he's not caring much about nail trim anymore.
All right. So that is one way to provide positive reinforcement while your dog's getting their nails trimmed. But we're gonna go ahead and provide you guys a little bit more advice on how to get to a point where you don't need to smear peanut butter anywhere on your body. Havoc is gonna help us demonstrate. So these are pretty standard clippers. The alternative is a guillotine option where there's actually a little slide. Not a huge fan of those. Sometimes it can actually pinch the nail, but the real key is whichever trimmers you're buying, make sure they are really sharp. The difference between a sharp nail trimmer and a dull one can make all the difference in your dog tolerating having their nails trimmed.
And each pet is different. So some pets may be more reactive to the actual clip and feeling of a trimmer, whereas some may be more reactive to the Dremel and grinding and vibrations itself. So it's important to test out a couple different ways if you're having not great success with whatever option you've chosen.
So typically we'll start, hi buddy, yeah, are you so excited? By handling their feet and paws and making sure that they are fine with that. We won't even use our clippers. Good job. So now we're gonna introduce the trimmers and oftentimes just letting them check it out, have a look-see, no big deal, give a treat. And then we can start working it down their leg and he pulled back. So we're not going to reward that. So you can see I'm not even getting to the point where we're even trimming his nails. We're purely just desensitizing to our equipment and to what we're asking him to do. So eventually you'll get to the point where he's comfortable with you, touching his paws, he's not pulling back. You can place the trimmers right along his foot. You can also kind of make plenty of noise with the trimmers, make sure he's okay with the clicking. Sometimes that can be a little bit startling for dogs. So eventually you'll get to a point where you can actively take off the very, very, very tip of the nail. Havoc does have black nails, which are a little bit challenging. You can't often see the quick. And the last thing you want to do after we've spent all of this time with providing positive reinforcement is to accidentally quick them, cause them pain, and then you take 20 steps back from all of the progress that you've made. So again, be patient. Oftentimes it can take a really long time to get to a point where you can trim all of your dog's nails in one setting. So if they're young and you're just getting them used to it, think of one nail a day, a huge victory.
While frequency of nail trims can be dependent on the pet, it's important to not let them get too long. Once a nail grows longer than it's supposed to be, the blood supply actually extends as well. So if you go to trim them the next time, you're not going to be able to get as much length off, and you run the risk of actually quicking and causing pain and discomfort in an otherwise pain-free technique.
If you can hear your dogs actively clicking, if they sound like little tap dancers running through the house, chances are they probably need a little bit of a trim.
And this can be extra important in our older pets. They're not moving around as frequently and wearing down their nails, and that overgrowth can actually cause a displacement of their toes when they're walking. So that can lead to additional arthritis and discomfort in the joints and make them even less active than they should be.
The other point is long nails are more likely to split, and a split nail is really painful and it does take a long time for them to heal. So if they're shorter, probably less chance of snagging, and probably less chance of them splitting and causing your dog discomfort. What we haven't gotten into is what happens if you miss that boat and your dog gets to a point where not only do they say no to nail trims, but they say heck no and can actually become aggressive. What happens then?
If your dog is aggressive when you're trying to trim nails, I would be very careful. It can be helpful to have things on hand like a basket muzzle that you can put treats inside. I would definitely not smear peanut butter on my head in that instance, but smearing it on the inside of a muzzle to distract can get them more acclimated to having their nails trimmed if they've had a bad experience in the past.
Right. The other option is if your pet has excessively long nails. We do have patients and pet parents that opt to have their pets sedated for nail trims just to be sure that they don't cause any more discomfort or pain. So that is an option. Consult with your veterinarian. It may not be for everybody.
And if you do get into a situation where you're at home and you've cut a nail too short, there are some options. I would go ahead and pick up some Quick Stop or Styptic powder from the pet store. A lot of them even have a little bit of analgesic in them, so not only do they stop the bleeding quickly, they can actually help the pain as well. And if you don't have product on hand and you've accidentally quicked a nail, you can go ahead and reach for your pantry. A box of cornstarch is a good temporary fix.
So thanks for spending some time with us today, guys, about learning different tips and tricks that you can utilize to get your dog acclimated to trimmers and hopefully make the nail trimming process a lot less stressful for all parties involved. So if you have any comments, questions, products that you've used and that you like, go ahead and put them down in the comment section below. Make sure you hit subscribe while you're down there so we can keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks.
And if you've got any videos of peanut butter on your head that might be interesting, feel free to share those as well.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have it.
Short enough to an appropriate length. If you wait too long to trim your pet's nails,